Well, hey folks, welcome back. Tim here, of course, Gamma Vidi. Getting dark, it's getting windy. What better time than to check out the new 270-degree awning sidewalls from Ironman 4x4. Just got these in, can't wait to bust them out. Let's jump into it. Before we jump in, cutting into you from the future here, so sorry about that, but a few things that are important and relevant. So one is, yeah, I learned that these lights are multicolor, so I'm pretty psyched on that, and apologies for not catching that the first time, but yeah, very cool, and I can't wait to get this out at night again and show what those colors and the dimming looks like. Second thing, thank you. It does have a kickstand, so if I can point, there we go. Keep the water from pooling up, allow it to drain off if we're ever in the rain. So appreciate that comment to the video. Thank you so much for that. And I think I fixed the whole beef I have, which you'll see in a second here, with the lack of zipper across the awning walls. So I found a neat workaround for that. Very inexpensive, very easy to do. So that's going to be part 3. Anyway, so apologize for harping on the lack of zipper, but you know, it is kind of a big deal to me. But anyway, I think I solved it. In any case, be sure to check out part 3 then for the, you know, the wall tricks. And until then, here's the rest of part 2. Getting kind of unpacked here. So 4 walls total. And I like that they gave you all 4, kind of 2 door, 2 not door. If it matters, you can decide before you put them all up, or maybe you only put 1 up. But in any case, you have those options. So as you're figuring it out, there's a piece of Velcro that goes across the top of each wall and then along the sides. So you can kind of figure out if I'm on a corner, okay, this must be the top. That's also going to be the shortest side. Then on the other end, you know, their logo is going to be right side up at the very, very bottom. So as you're figuring out how these go, the logo is also going to be on the outside. So of course the branding is for people who haven't already purchased the wall kit, but you know, you inside the walls, no need to market to you anymore, right? So there you go. All right, so that took me about 2 minutes and 45 seconds, a little under 3 minutes. That included finding the stakes and getting my hammer out. So a couple minutes, not terrible, but you can already hear first thing I don't like about these sidewalls. Let's check it out. And I gotta ask, why no zipper? Why do we gotta use the hook and loop Velcro on something that's just gonna get stressed out by the wind repeatedly? I just don't get it. You saw me squeezing this as I was putting it up, but still, it doesn't take much to just pull that back down. That's the big downside of this wall kit here. As far as shade goes, no question, it's blocking the sun, and you know, it's positioned in the right spot. You really only need 1 wall, really, in this situation. I don't think that the light suppression is as good. If I look at the sun through the awning versus through the wall, it's definitely brighter through the wall. So probably not quite as good, like, you know, SPF wise, but certainly takes the edge off if you're trying to get out of that sun. I mean, gets the job done there really well. Now I have 2 walls in place, basically a door wall and a not door or window wall. And so nice little shaded area here. Give you a glimpse of that. So yeah, you can totally chill back in here if you had to get out of the sun or light breeze, you know, trying to cook something or maybe somebody wants to sleep in a pack and play, I think this is super for that kind of stuff. So set up in a park on a nice day and just give yourself some guaranteed shade. So yeah, that's what the wall kit's all about. We'll just check it out from the outside. So you have to pay attention to where these are going to meet up, because it's going to be a big strip of Velcro going all the way down. And I think you could use the same post. I used a different nail for each eyelet, but I've combined those in the past. That seems to work good, especially if you're running low on stakes. There's the door wall. Again, just Velcro all the way to the top, and you kind of see how it all comes together here. And I'm probably my own root cause here, because as I staked that down tighter and tighter to the ground, it started to pull on there. So I'm going to take some pressure off of that stake down there and see if I can button up my my felt Velcro here. So that worked a lot better. I basically pulled the sidewall all the way down to where it was literally in contact with the ground before putting the stake in, and then I drove the stake in. So there's no load on this now, which I think is going to make a big difference. It's not that tight. So I lay things tight, but I guess you really shouldn't use the stakes to add the tension there on the sidewalls. Come this far, may as well set up the doors and windows, see what those things are all about. So hit fast forward. All right, that was easy. Well, I should say the door was easy. Window not so much, but let's check out the door. The window unzips all the way around, so you could use this as a bug screen. You've got 3 of those little, put the stick in the hole kind of doodads for securing it. Pretty standard stuff. Door, same way. And the door zips all the way down, does not zip across the bottom. So, but you can set up a wall and then you can make an opening and walk right through it. So that works. Show you what didn't work. So out here at the window, now it unzips easy enough. 2 zippers per side. And it's got some little Velcro to kind of help keep it closed, or presumably just keep it flat when you're packing this up again. But I can't roll this up. I get to about here and then I'm leaning into the wall that I've already set up. So am I supposed to unstake my wall, roll this up and then stake it again? Because I didn't get a zipper on the screen. Otherwise I could have rolled it from the inside. But I just kind of wonder sometimes if the folks speccing it and buying it are the same people using it. Because I don't know, if you did this one time, you'd be like, hey, wait a minute. We got to put a zipper on that screen. It'd be a lot easier to roll it from the inside. Otherwise, you're unpinning your wall that you worked so hard to pin down when you set it up in the first place. But I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I don't know how often I'm going to actually set up a door or a window, because if I wanted to walk that way and I wanted the sun to come in, I just wouldn't have put these walls up in the first place. So maybe a little bit more of a long-term setup where this is up for a couple days on end and you're coming in and out from different areas. I could see it, but not when you're set up in the park in the afternoon. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So nice and easy here today. Hot day, sunny, not much wind. But what about if it's dark and windy and cold? What's that look like? Let's check it out. So there are 4 walls in total, basically 2 window walls. There you go, 1 and 2. I'll walk this way, and then 2 door walls. So there's a door wall and a door wall. They all have screens. They all have these little doodads that let you roll them up and cinch it. And there's the wind. So yeah, in a light breeze, this would be pretty sweet. I'm not sure this is up for what we got going on right now though. So we'll a little bit more of that in a second. Let's go outside. Here we are outside. Of course, you're gonna have access here. If you have a GX and a tire, that'll be a challenge, but with a pickup truck, it's really nice. Out here, shot of our wall. Let me just back up. A little bit of a sunset left here. So there's our two window walls. I'm on a little bit of an uneven ground. I had to work around a rock. Maybe not ideal, but we got her pinned up there. And coming around here, of course the door cinches, and so forth. So there you go, wall kit. I hope you can hear that wind, because inside it actually is quite a bit more protected than this. So my first impression is, yeah, great walls, great value. I mean, 4 walls for that price, really same price as 2 walls from a Batwing, and they seem to be just as good to me. So nice work there. My one beef, I would have really liked to see a zipper up here instead of the the old hook and loop or brand name Velcro. I don't know if you hear it going as the wind blows, but I've already lost one just trying to get it staked down. I can already hear it kind of fatiguing. There's no way this thing lasts the night with the wind like this, with just Velcro up in the upper perimeter there and along the seams in between. So it would have been cool to see a zipper there. Today, or tonight, I guess, that's really my only beef. So I'm going to set this up again tomorrow, and we'll get a little bit better look at it in the daytime. So one question I get asked quite a bit is could you sleep in here? Is this a replacement for maybe a ground tent or some other thing? And I mean, yes and no. I mean, technically you can sleep anywhere, right? You don't need a cot, you don't need a tent. You could just lay out on a table and pass out. But things get better as you have an enclosure. So one thing to point out is this isn't a tight enclosure by any stretch. For one, plenty of room to air and critters and things to come in and out from the underside of the vehicle. That's definitely not shut off in this case. Even along your perimeter, it's not super tight under there. Air's gonna get in. The obvious one though is back here. So even with that final 4th wall stuck up there, and you saw that in the windy video, there's still a big gap where you could just walk right in and out. The only time you'd be limited by that would be like a swing out, a GX door, something like that. But in any case, no, it's not a concealed tent like a tent is. And I hate to keep harping on this lack of zipper thing, but one of the coolest features of the Batwing awnings and how they did their sidewalls, a lot of you have seen that video, is they actually give you a couple poles and telling you can use these eyelets as support legs. So you unpin it from both sides. And you undo your seam. Now you can walk out and expand your shade, right? And I can either tie this eyelet off to a nearby tree, or if I had a pole, I could put a pole down and then guy it down. It's one of the coolest things about those Batwing walls. The problem with the Velcro again is any tension that I need to put on that pole and that guy line is just gonna rip that thing right off the awning. So sorry guys, but I call that one a miss. Putting this away, I mean, pretty obvious. You pull your pins, you rip it down, you fold it up, and you shove it back in that bag. So let's knock that out real quick here. So that wasn't terrible, right at 2 minutes. So we'll call it a minute per wall. Get the stakes out, get them ripped out, and get them folded up. Now my next challenge, I think, is going to be to get all 4 of those walls in this bag, and then ultimately put away. But before I get too far into that, there's one question that I am dying to know the answer to. I'm going to find out. And I'm hoping some of you from my other videos have been wondering if I'm going to get to this also. So that question, of course, is can we shove a wall back up in the awning bag? So let's find out. Back. So that was just under 3 minutes for the record. So it's usually my time. I can set it up in a minute, maybe a minute 15, and right around 2:45, 3 minutes to put the thing away. So I'm good with that. But you know, after some experience, that's about where I've landed. So the question on the wall is, you know, where could this go? It doesn't have a bag, unless you wanted to use the bag, but I can get it about that big. I'm really tight here because of the, you know, the other bag I'm not supposed to store up there. It gets a little better in here, but not really. Kind of right here is my, if I had available material, it's got to be right by the back legs. So, all right, see what happens. Okay, one wall fits. Nice and tight. Actually, the bag looks a little more uniform now than it did before. You know that bag's falling right on the ground as soon as I unzip that again. So know that you have a bag in there if you're doing this. And if you're not going to use that wall, know that you're probably going to have to fold it up again. And then it might be laying around in the dirt for a while until you pick it up. So not sure that's your move all the time, but kind of nice to know that you have that, you know, in your quiver, if you will, because look at the alternative. And this is the bag all packed up with all 4 walls. I grabbed the one from up in the awning there, but this is a good size ivy. I don't know the specs, but let's call it 22 by 30 something, solid 4 inches deep. It might fit in your deck system if you smashed it down there. If you had one in a truck, it would probably maybe fit in a big ARB drawer, but you'd be, I mean, you would be beating on it. And then that would be the only thing really in that drawer. And that's prime real estate, man. I wouldn't give that up for a wall kit that I might not even use every trip. So yeah, dealing with this big bag and the size of this thing is an issue. So good to know you can sneak one up there. I bet without that organizer hanging down, like you get 2 up there. But I like the organizer, so, and I'm good with just one wall, you know, if I ever need to do that move again. So one other thing I do is use those Apache cases, you know, or Pelican or similar, you know, the plastic cases. Again, they take up a lot of room, but putting a case on the rack is something where you can get away with having it, but you don't have to get to it all the time, so it doesn't really bother you that much, as if something's always in your way, you're always moving it, or it's taking up prime real estate in your drawer system. And here is a nice little Apache 4800 case, you know, Harbor Freight. I think they're best size. And I was able to easily get, you know, the bag of steaks and then 2 of these walls in there. So might be able to do 3, probably not all 4. But honestly, maybe 2 or 3 is all you need, and you could get it done with this. And I think this is probably a better option than trying to cram it in the bag, because you're not going to use these walls every time you set up the awning, and it's nice to just kind of keep them up out of the way. You know where they're going to be when you do need them. And if you do need some tips and tricks for how to install a case on your Gamma VD rack, of course there is another video for that. Find on the channel, on the website, or even on the webpage that's literally called Case Installed. So hopefully that's helpful to you. Pretty decent option here. And I think on that we'll wrap it up. So you know, quite a bit of info for just a wall kit, but I hope that was useful to you. You know, the big bag of 4 sidewalls for the 270 awnings from Ironman 4x4. There you go. Nice to give you all 4, door one and a window one. Not sure how often you use it, but you know it's there if you need it. The big knock for me is no zipper on the top. I mean, that would have been a slam dunk for this thing, but I just can't say jump out and go get this wall kit without that. So hopefully they watch this and improve the product, or let me know, you know, where to put my feedback perhaps. I don't know, we'll find out. But in any case, it's fun for me to do these. Let me know what else you want to see on these videos, as well as products. I'll see you on the next one.